B&M is one of the most influential roller coaster manufacturers in the whole world, working with Busch Gardens and SeaWorld for all of their new roller coasters, and in the recent years yet again working with Six Flags Entertainment. And it is very important to mention they've been a pioneer in the roller coaster industry since the late 90s, and today they're still known for creating reliable and quality products. But in the recent years they've been criticized a lot for not making new creations, so that's why I've decided to rank all their roller coaster models. And here we have a total of 10 different roller coaster models I need to rank, so sit back, relax, and let's go straight into this video. Coming in at spot number 10 is the B&M Flawless Coaster. And why is this coaster model my least favorite? Well, let me tell you. Every single Flawless roller coaster I've ridden tend to be rattly and very unpleasant, and on top of that you have a quite boring layout. All of these roller coasters have the traditional looping layout, as you know from B&M, but most of these layouts doesn't really feel the same like other models on the list. But yes, I get it, dangling your feet in the air on the Flawless coaster design is also great, but please in the comments give me some suggestions for good B&M Flawless coasters that doesn't have the great rattle as you know from B&M. Coming in at spot number 9 we have the B&M Family Coaster. A year ago I would have placed this coaster model behind the Flawless coaster, but you can see the different parks are starting to buy more B&M Family coasters, and that means they're getting creative in the business. Their B&M Family Coaster design just used to be a smaller version of the inverted coaster, but with the creation of Penguin Trek you can really see they're getting creative in the Family Coaster section. Penguin Trek is a small B&M launch coaster, and on top of that they have a brand new train design, so I see a lot of potential in the B&M Family Coaster section, so that's why I take spot number 9. Coming in at spot number 8 we have the infamous B&M Dive Coaster, and this really is a very polarizing coaster model, because many roller coaster enthusiasts mean that this roller coaster doesn't really do anything with the forces in the layouts. The only thing they are known for is a very great stomach dropping feeling when you go down the iconic first drop on these coasters. Even though I placed them at spot number 8, I think these coasters gets too much hate, and I partly agree with most of the roller coaster enthusiasts. Yes, the drop is the best thing on this coaster, but from a business standpoint these dive coasters are awesome. They look cool, the drop is awesome, and the general public loves the rides. Coming in at spot number 7 we have the Stand-Up coaster, and before you close this video for not being the worst coaster model on the list, let me just speak please. Yes, almost every B&M Stand-Up roller coasters are rattly and unpleasant to ride, and yes, the Lord and Savior called B&M has come up with a new innovative ride system called the Surf Coaster, and yes, we could argue about that the Surf Coaster model needs to have its own category, then I could place Stand-Up coasters as the worst coaster model, but now when you think about it they are standing up. And yes, Pipeline the Surf Coaster is the Lord and Savior for the Stand-Up coaster model because this has an airtime filled and smooth layout, and the reason for spot number 7 is only because of the Pipeline Surf Coaster. Moving on at spot number 6 we have the Flying Coaster, and yes, the Flying Coaster model is just an overall decent experience. Most of B&M Flying Coaster layouts just know how to catch the essence of flying. Their layouts mainly consist of floaty elements and inversions, but the iconic pretzel loop takes the ride experience from 0 to 100 real quick. The pretzel loop quickly dives the riders head first to the ground and then slowly comes up again, and these elements pull some insane g-forces for your body. They might have the most strong positive g-forces of any elements on different coasters. I don't really know if that sentence makes sense in English, but perhaps you understand. Coming in at spot number 5 we have the Wing Coaster, and you can't really argue these roller coasters are just mesmerizing and cool to look at. Many of the B&M Wing Coasters I've tried are mainly decent to great coasters, but they mainly get the criticism of being too floaty and slow, and yes, I see the point, but that's only for some roller coasters. The main ones I've tried in Europe offers a more compact experience with a shorter train design and a more whippy layout, and of course I have to mention the wing overdrops on some of these roller coasters. They are just awesome. Coming in at spot number 4 we have the Sitting Coaster, and in my opinion most of these sitting coaster models have a stronger, more forceful design than the Flawless coaster, and even though most of these sitting roller coasters are from the 90s, they are still so smooth today. And if I had to give the coaster model some criticism, is of course the layout. It is very repetitive with the same loops, corkscrews and cobra rolls, but the experience on the coaster model makes up for it. You have to brace for impact because the positive g-forces are strong on this one. And coming in at spot number 3 we have the Inverted Coaster, and I mean, what's not to like about this coaster model? Hanging under the track is just a cool experience for itself, but the inverted roller coaster model is just a more enhanced version of the Sitting Coaster in my opinion. And yes, yet again the layout is mostly the same for the Flawless, Stand-Up, Sitting and Inverted Coaster, but this coaster model takes the crown for having the most intense rides. When you talk about inverted coasters by B&M, you have to mention Montu. A back row on Montu is next level intensity. After a ride on Montu, your blood is literally gone from your legs because of the long layout and intense g-forces on Montu. Coming in at second place we have the B&M Giga Coaster, but then some of you might think Fury 325 crushes the B&M competition, but wait a minute, the two other Giga coasters get a lot of criticism, but yes, of course, these roller coasters are awesome. They are so tall, they are so fast, they offer airtime, and the first drop is crazy on all of them. But the difference between Fury 325 and the other two B&M Giga coasters are the length of the layouts. A coaster that's so tall with a chain lift needs to have a lot of land to cover. The other two roller coasters are criticized for not having a lengthy layout. Even though they statistically have a long layout, they are just so big that it feels so short. This might not be a huge surprise, but coming in at first place we have the B&M Hypercoaster. And yes, this is just a fan favorite coaster model from B&M. Both the general public and roller coaster enthusiasts mainly love these rides, and there's also a good reason for this. The layouts mainly consist of huge airtime hills that gives the awesome out of your seat experience for several seconds on several hills, and the floating experience of negative g-forces is just a hit among people. But yet again, they can be criticized for being repetitive, but that's what B&M is known for. They may have simple and repetitive designs, but they are reliable, they make quality, and they have a 0% disaster rate. So now we come to the end of this video. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Have you ridden some of these B&M rides? Let me know in the comments, and at the end of the day, I'm always gonna say bye bye.